And then the last point I'll make, which I think is a fascinating one, but may not apply to all muscles, but it definitely applies to some because we've seen it measured, is that it doesn't have to necessarily even be the fascicle itself that's getting longer if you make the assumption that lengthened training is increasing fiber length. So if we go through, so it kind of necessitates us to go through what the structure of muscle is like. So if you're willing, I can go up the, so basically you have sarcomere, right? So that's the smallest contractile unit.
Yep.
There's a bunch of, so the thick and thin filament, the myosin head is like a rod, which looks like a red ball sack on top. And
excellent. I had never heard that before, but it's accurate.
Grabs onto a pearl and it pulls the two halves together. And
Scott, has your ball sack ever grabbed anything?
I think he confirmed that. Yeah, exactly. So we got the sarcomere, smallest unit. A bunch of sarcomeres in series is a myofibril.
Yes.
Right? So you can think of that sort of as like a string of spaghetti, right?
Yep.
Then you have a bunch of those strings of spaghetti wrapped in a burrito that make up a muscle fiber.
And that's the muscle cell.
So that's one muscle cell.
Yep.
Exactly. And then that one muscle cell multiplied by a bunch is going to be a fascicle. So a bundle. So you can think of that as a mega burrito, a bunch of burritos. Ooh. Yeah, exactly. We're getting good at disgusting. Nobody's going to eat that thing. It's just spaghetti, a bunch of noodles. And yeah, exactly. But the mega burrito is the fascicle, and then a bunch of fascicles would be a mega burrito. That's whole muscle. But the thing that you need to sort of grasp within this analogy is that the burrito, the muscle fiber itself, doesn't necessarily span the mega burrito. So you could have...
It almost never does.
I think it's true for pennated muscles, I think there's more spanning, but there's a bunch of muscles that have been shown and some that it's kind of murky. So for the hamstrings, I couldn't find very good evidence, even though they're pretty long muscles, but it's definitely true for the sartorius. A bunch of...
I was going to say this. Yeah. There's like potentially like an 18 centimeter long cell in there.
Yeah, so it's very rare because of the fact that it has a bunch of fibers within the fascicle. Yes. So I think there's an inverse relationship between the length of the muscle and the amount of fibers it has that span. So basically, you're going to have a lot more small fibers in very long muscles.